Joining us right now is presidential historian Doug Wead. Doug, it's good to see you this morning. Your thoughts on this special morning as we remember President Bush.
Yeah, this was a great president, and he'll be remembered as the man who ended the Cold War. Ronald Reagan called for the Berlin Wall to come down, but I watched it come down on my TV set in my office in the White House under George H.W. Bush. And as history unpacks all the details of what he did and what he didn't do, his links to Pope John Paul II, how he worked behind the scenes to end that war without nuclear weapons going into the hands of terrorists. It was a high-wire act, a great moment of history, and it saved humanity from disaster.
Any interaction I've ever had with President Bush, he's been so gentle, or appears to be so gentle. He also had this love affair with Barbara. Yes. There was a letter that he wrote to her during World War II, and that went viral after Barbara passed on. But they really did have a love affair, Dagan. I mean, this was something that many people talk about. They were best friends.
They were, and it's and Doug, it's particularly poignant that he will be laid to rest next to Barbara and also his daughter Robin. And Karl Rove talked about this on Monday. Robin died at the age of 3 of leukemia, and it does inform your life as a parent when you lose a child to cancer at such a young age. And it's uplifting and puts a smile on our faces knowing that President Bush will be is now reunited with Barbara and his daughter, but also it exemplifies his dedication to service and his wife's dedication to fighting cancer, particularly among children.
I remember in the Oval Office one morning they brought in a little child who was bald-headed, chemotherapy, cancer. Of course, I had co-authored a book with George H.W. Bush, so I knew the story of Robin, how it affected him. So here were the parents, here was this little child, this little boy that would be dead within a few weeks. And George H.W. Bush was so positive and upbeat. He said, well, you've had a great day here in Washington, and let me tell you, I know what you liked best. Let me tell you, you liked the Air and Space Museum best, right? And this little boy, great big eyes, this little boy said, no, Mr. President, you're the best. And that's a thought that comes to my mind today.
Hey, Doug, Bob Nardelli here.
Hi,
I can't imagine a tougher eulogy than to do one for your dad with 43. Have you talked to him? Have you helped him prepare his thoughts? He was so emotional yesterday at the viewing, and I've never seen him, you know, so anxious and saddened. Are you helping him with those words?
No, I'm not, but I've had many, many conversations with both George H.W. Bush about his son, who he loved, but there was also some rivalry, and with the son about the father. And I know that George W. Bush has some rhetorical devices or tricks to help him kill the emotion, and they're kind of funny, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to invoke that when he gives that eulogy.
That is funny. You know what was so emotional yesterday? Former presidential candidate Bob Dole. He had such a moving salute, getting out of his wheelchair, standing up with the help of an aide, and saluting President H.W. Everybody saw that, right?
Yep.
It was incredible.
Amazing.
Doug, your reaction?
Well, I like the way that they forgive each other, that generation, but especially George H.W. Bush. And when I'm hearing all these stories, a lot of people miss out the fact that George H.W. Bush introduced negative campaigning as a first. Up till then, with Reagan, he subscribed to negative campaigning, learned it in North Carolina, he believed in the 11th commandment. But you had to start out positive, get your vision, and then go negative. But the 1988 campaign, people think of George H.W. Bush as nice. He was a tough campaigner. He came out of the gate fighting. Willie Horton was not a dog whistle. It was in your face. And he himself started telling the story. We had to say, let other people tell the story, not you. So he was in a very ruthless game. Power is ruthless. And yet he was so nice, and he was so forgiving. He was a nice man in a mean game, and he did it so very well.
A lot of people nowadays love to act like that President Trump is the sole individual stirring up animosity toward the media. And I look back at the Newsweek cover of President Bush, who joined the Navy at the age of 18 and was a fighter pilot, and the Newsweek cover said, "Fighting the wimp factor." That's what the American people are pushing back on. I look at that cover, and I think the guy who wrote the article actually now regrets it. But again, you want to talk about some cooked up narrative that people with pen, paper, typewriter, now computer or camera in front of their face, that there's something that they push that is just phony, baloney, and mean, Doug, mean.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw the other day Frank Sesno, who I admire and like very much. He was saying, boy, George H.W. Bush knew how to treat the press. I was eating my breakfast and I almost spit my Cheerios out my nose because I remember the day we were told, if anybody talks to Frank Sesno, you'll be fired on the spot. Apparently, he was going down through the directory at the White House calling people under people to get information. And I remember Katharine Graham pulling me aside at an event. She was in despair because her star reporter, David Hoffman, was being blacklisted at the White House. We were told if we were seen in his presence, we'd be fired because Bush was angry because he had broken the next summit.
Wow.
So they had to move him to the Pentagon. So yes, we remember things through rose-colored glasses, and people are comparing Donald Trump, a businessman, with George H.W. Bush, who was a diplomat. There's a big difference.
And he had a Democratic Congress to deal with while president. I think he would have gotten a second term if not for just Republican fatigue. I mean, remember, he had been vice president with President Reagan for 2 terms, and then president for 1 term, and then, of course, the whole famous no new taxes. Unfortunately, then he had to raise taxes midway through his term. That also did him in, Doug, in terms of a potential second term as president.
That's right. You're very astute, Maria, good historian, because that historic correlation is very true. But the nail in the coffin was no new taxes. And I remember in the practice debates at one point in 1987, he stopped the debate. He said, I'm just not comfortable with this. And that was 1987. I remember thinking to myself, I was one of the shills that was debating him. I was saying, well, boy, you better get used to it, because that's your signature line. There's no running from that line now. And then I was with him after he had to raise the taxes, and we were backstage somewhere alone, and he was almost in grief because he knew it was going to be portrayed as a lie, that he had promised it and he'd broken it, and integrity was everything to him. And
Absolutely.
he said, what's it like out there? Meaning, what do the simple folks say or do? he was suffering from the decision he felt he had to make.
Doug, it's great to have you with us this morning to
Thank
look
you,
back.
Maria.
Thank you so much. Doug Wead joining us.